Welcome to Rad Builds, everyone. Not too long ago, I released a video on how to make Stormbreaker. Today, I will be giving you a much more detailed and updated version on how to build this prop. You can watch that video if you would like, but if you're watching this, it has all the information you need, including a free downloadable template, which you can easily follow along with, because I will be referring to it throughout this video. Now, without further ado, I'm going to show you how to build Stormbreaker from the MCU with lightning powers. To build Stormbreaker, you are going to need a variety of supplies: poster board, cardboard, 10mm foam, 6mm foam, 4mm foam, and some 2mm foam. You also need super glue, contact cement, hot glue, spray paint, black paint, brown paint, scissors, an X-Acto knife, a larger knife, a circle cutter. You do not need this, but it makes life easier, a pencil, a ruler, and a Dremel. Roughly 52 inches of PVC pipe, a large amount of rope. This will not be enough, I will have to purchase more. Some paintbrushes, and the LEDs that I have provided in with the link in the description. And these I purchased off of Amazon. You also need the pattern, also linked in the description. To start, I just laid out the pattern and I taped it together with some Scotch tape. After that, I just used an X-Acto knife and I cut out all the pieces. Now I just laid all of the pieces out onto poster board. Then I laid the pieces that go in cardboard onto cardboard, and the pieces that go on foam onto foam. Now I just taped on all of the pieces labeled poster board onto the poster board. Now I just used an X-Acto knife and I cut out pieces 1, 2, and 3. The reason I like to tape the patterns to the poster board and then cut them out like that is because if you just trace the pieces onto the poster board and then cut them out, the cuts may not be as accurate. Now to make the lightning, I'm just going to use some liquid super glue and make lightning patterns onto the side that will be facing the inside of the axe. Also make sure when you're drawing lightning across several pieces of poster board that the lightning matches. Make sure to cut out piece 1 twice and to flip the pattern when you do. After that, I just spray painted some cardboard silver and began cutting out pieces and gluing them onto the spots where the super glue is not. The reason we are doing this is to provide strength to the poster board, but also to help reflect the lights when they are inside the axe. I also would recommend that you use some cardboard that has a glossy outside because it helps to better reflect the light. Now we are going to glue pieces 2 and 3 onto piece 1 using some hot glue. And I would recommend using hot glue for this part because super glue tends to bleed through the poster board. To help strengthen where the two pieces meet, just score some cardboard and then bend it and then glue that onto the inside of the poster board. Now I am just taping on pieces number 4 and 15 onto the silver cardboard, and then I will cut those out. I'll explain why this piece is labeled number 15 later on. Now I just mark the center of the holes with an X-Acto knife onto the cardboard, and then measure the size of the circle that needs to be cut with my circle cutter. This is why it is nice to have a circle cutter because, well, it's easy to cut circles. Now just hot glue piece number 4 onto pieces 1, 2, and 3. Now we are going to score or cut halfway through piece number 15 so that it can glue on in a nice curved shape. The reason this piece is labeled number 15 is because it shouldn't be glued on yet. It should be glued on after the lights have been put inside. And I'll tell you later when this happens. Now the other piece, number 1, just gets glued on like this. Now we're working on pieces 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now I'm just scoring piece number 5 where the score lines are marked on the pattern. The reason why we're scoring this is because we're going to bend this and it'll create the divot which you can see on the full scale printout I have. If you want your own full scale printout, I have left links in the description on how I did this. Now I drew the lightning patterns like I did on the front of the axe with super glue. And then I glued on piece number 6, and this is one without the triangle. Also, you'll notice that on the bottom of piece number 5, I labeled it cut off if you have batteries. This means that on the battery side of the axe, you won't need that piece, so you can just cut it off. But on the other side, you will. Or pieces number 6, 7, 8, and 9 will be glued on like this, but at an angle. Also, you will need 2 more of pieces 8 and 7, and you also need another set of pieces 5 and 6 to create another one of the pieces we have just made. And make sure you also use super glue to make the lightning patterns, and also glue on the silver cardboard to strengthen the poster board, just as we did on the axe head. Once you're done, the end product should look like this. If you've watched this far, I highly recommend you to subscribe and like this video, because it'll help me bring more videos on how to make amazing props like this one. Now, back to the build. Now glue on pieces 10 and 11 an inch away from the end of the PVC pipe. Now you'll notice I cut the 3/4 inch PVC pipe into 6 inches, 8 inches, and what will eventually be 38 inches, and I connected them with a T connector. Piece number 12 is rolled up into a cone shape, and pieces number 13 and 14 are glued onto the inside of that. After that, I just glued that onto the 8-inch PVC. Also notice that I spray painted the top of the PVC where the T connector is silver, so it also can reflect the lights. Here are the LEDs I bought off of Amazon, and I'm just taking them off the wheel. Now to make an even surface for the batteries to glue on, I just used some cardboard and glued that onto the PVC pipe. And I used some super glue and I glued on the battery case, and also you'll take a look and I took off the lid of the batteries. Then I wrapped the LEDs around pieces 10 and 11. And now I'm just sticking that piece inside of the axe portion we made earlier. And you can see the lightning starting to come through. Now here is where piece number 15 should actually be glued on. Now here is piece number 16, and I'm just cutting out that notch labeled in the pattern. And then you will just feed the LEDs through that notch, and then stick the LEDs through the poster board piece. After that, you can glue on piece number 16 to the poster board. Now wrap the LEDs around the cone piece, and to hold them onto the cone, you can just use some super glue and duct tape. Now just put that cone piece inside of the poster board. And then you can attach that to the rest of the axe. Here's the lightning starting to come through. Now you'll just glue on piece number 17 onto the back, and don't forget to add lightning patterns on the inside of that as well. Here's piece number 18, and I've already beveled the edge with a Dremel. And to glue the two number 18 pieces, I'm just going to use some contact cement. You could make piece number 18 out of poster board as well, but I'm going to use foam so it is soft and so that when it hits something it won't get damaged like poster board would. I'm using contact cement because it is soft and it works well with foam. And to use contact cement, you just paint both sides of what you want to glue and then let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes, and then just push those pieces together. To make pieces number 18 fit better against the rest of the axe, I'm just going to use a knife and shave off a bit of the excess. Now it fits much nicer. To glue pieces number 18 on to the rest of the axe, I'm just going to use some contact cement. Here are pieces numbers 19 and 20. They get glued together and then they will be glued onto the axe, and the 10mm part will be closer to the blade. Only glue it on the side where the batteries are not. This will help the batteries get removed later on. Then glue on piece number 21, and don't forget to add the detail scoring lines. Then glue on pieces number 22 and then 23 in between the 22s. Then glue on pieces number 24 and 25 in between pieces numbers 16 and 20. Then piece number 26 gets glued on right in here. And piece number 27 gets glued on right next to it. Now here are pieces numbers 28 and 29, and they get glued right next to each other. Then that is glued on underneath the axe head right next to the PVC pipe. Now I've went ahead and glued on pieces numbers 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35, and then I spray painted that silver. I also went ahead and glued on another piece of PVC pipe to make it the actual 38 inches. Here's piece number 36, and I've went ahead and scored some details on it. Now just glue on piece number 37 onto the back of that. And then glue on piece 38 to the front. I spray painted that silver and glued it on the middle of piece 17. Then I just colored the battery silver and scored some details. To make the handle, I wrapped the rope up one side of the PVC pipe around the axe and then back down the other side of the PVC pipe and glued it on with some hot glue. To thicken some parts of the handle, I wrapped some foam around the PVC pipe before I glued on the rope. Then I mixed up some black and brown paint and painted the entire handle. The next step is blackwash. To make blackwash, I just mixed some black paint and water and then painted the axe. Then I used a paper towel and wiped most of it away, but I made sure to leave some so that the axe looks much more realistic. I did this to the entire axe, and here are the before and after pictures of blackwash. The final step is just gluing on the branches with some hot glue. Make sure on the other side that when you're gluing the branches, you do so in a way that you will still have access to pull out the batteries. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe. My next video will most likely be showing you how to make something from Stranger Things, and I encourage you to check that out when it comes out. I also encourage you to print out those templates in the description and make your own Stormbreaker, because it is truly a rad build.